Yeah.
All right, so 5:33. I want to respect your time and move through this at a nice, good pace. What I've done is pulled up not all of them, I think most of the tools from the course. So what I'm going to do is switch to share my screen and bring up a web browser. Wrong one. Here we go. A web browser that I've already gone and logged into most of these accounts to save time. And I just thought I'd run through them all and give you some demos and invite you to participate if you would like to. The first one that I recommended and that you will probably see used the most in schools, especially in live situations, is Kahoot. And Kahoot is found at create.kahoot.it. I don't know, does that zoom in when I do that for you guys or no?
Yeah, you might want to zoom in a little bit. I can't see very well.
Okay. Hang on. Well, that zooms in everything except for the actual URL. Sorry, but it's create.kahoot.it. You go to kahoot.com to create your account, and then this is where you go once you're logged in, and then students go to a different account. So if you want to open another tab in your browser, what I've done is already created a quiz. It's easy to make one. You click the create button, and you can then teach with slides or do a formative assessment. You can do a student selfie. These are just some of the templates they give you. I actually made a quiz about the band Rush, and it has 5 questions. So on the teacher end, I look for this green play button, and then I can either teach it, which would be us right now all together, or I could assign it, which is really nice because in this age of remote teaching, you remember that doing asynchronous stuff is much better than doing synchronous stuff like we're doing right now. So you would use the assign for, hey, sometime in the next 2 days, complete this quiz. But I'll use teach for the virtual classroom we're in right now. And it says my Kahoot is loading. And then I can choose between either classic or team mode. Classic is just every player has their own device. So if you don't want to open a new browser, if you just want to grab your phone or your iPad or something like that, this works on all of those things. So in the Chromebook classroom, for example, this is a tool that's very popular. So I click classic, and it says that oh, I can't stand the music in this, by the way, so I'm going to mute that. It says that you should go to kahoot.it, kahoot.it, and here's the PIN number. Can everybody see that okay? If you're grabbing a device, I'll read it to you. It's 7160057. Then it waits for the players to jump in, and I'll start to see your names appear as you join the quiz. Marlene is putting on her readers.
Is it okay if I didn't sign in?
Okay, who was that, Maggie?
Yeah. Is it okay if I just do Kahoot.com or whatever the site they have there?
If you go to Kahoot.com, that's where you would go to create your account or create quizzes. You need to go to Kahoot.it.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I am. Good. Okay.
And then there should be a place to enter a PIN to join.
Yep, got it.
So now I see Maggie and Bonnie in here. John has his phone out.
I know nothing about the band Rush, so I do not intend to participate.
Steven, you can still play for fun.
I know nothing about it. Did you see
All right,
my
fine.
score?
I have nothing else to do, so I guess I will.
Exactly. Come on, man. The band Rush is the holy trinity of Canadian rock and roll. And at least pay homage to the great Neil Peart, who passed away about 2 months ago.
That I did hear about. That much I did
Yeah.
know, I think.
Yeah, man. And if nothing else, at the end of this little meeting, do yourself a favor and listen to a Rush song or two. It'll open up your mind. They're such a great band because they've been around for so long that their sound has really changed. And I will say this about them. They're one of those bands that gets better with age. I saw them in concert in 2015 and it was phenomenal. They've been touring for 40 years. All right, so we got Stephen, John, Bonnie, Marlene, Maggie. Who are we missing? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're missing Adrian.
Marlene. Oh, yeah, Marlene.
Yeah. Let's all pressure Adrian. Go faster. 716. There she's in. Okay, so now on the teacher end, I'm going to click start. And there are going to be 5 questions. The quiz begins. The first question is, I already told you the answer to this. What country is the band Rush from?
I wasn't listening, sorry.
Now what you're going to do is not look for the word on your answer screen, but you're just going to look for the color that matches what the answer was. So the answer was Canada, and it looks like one person got it right.
I did not see
The question.
Yeah, I didn't see the question or the answers.
Me either.
Me neither.
Really? Did I break the internet?
Looks like you did.
Well, John got it.
Maybe he guessed. No.
No,
It
John,
was,
you didn't guess,
I
did
looked at
you?
the screen.
It came up and it was just the shapes.
Yeah. So what happens here, this is what I don't like about Kahoot, is it gives you the question and then it'll put on the computer screen, on my screen. So you kind of have to be looking at both. On my screen, it'll say like Canada with an orange like shape, and then you got to hit that button on your device.
Yeah, I only saw the shapes.
And it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
So make sure you can also see what I'm broadcasting right now through the webinar. Let's try the second one. When was Rush inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
Oh.
I'm not seeing the choices.
Nope.
It's on the screen. It's
So that's the problem here, Marlene. Normally in a classroom, this would be up on the projector, but you have to look at.
Yes, I see the problem.
Yep. You got it?
No, I was too slow, but I do see what the problem was now.
That's what I mean. You see what the problem is. You have to be like, if you're going to do a live lesson, you would be projecting this up on the screen, and then the kids would have their devices or their computers out. So what I don't like about this is it feels real game showy, right? Did you guys feel some anxiety when you were like, oh, wait, what's the answer? So are you dedicating your mental processing to regurgitating information, or trying to beat the person next to you, or trying to keep up with what's going on? And that's why I don't think this is necessarily the best tool. Now, Bonnie just took the lead over John, and Adrian, Maggie, and Stephen are probably feeling shame, right? And it looks like we may have lost. Did we lose Marlene, or is she just not in the top 5?
I don't know. I think my internet is lagging.
All right, we're almost done. Okay, this one has a clue in the picture.
Oh.
There you go. If you looked behind Neil Peart, you'd see a big angel set of wings, because that was Clockwork Angels.
That's what I said.
That's what I thought.
I was
All right.
too late.
Hey, look at that. Steven just jumped right up there into 3rd place. How you feeling now, Steven?
I appreciate the hint you gave.
See? All right. Russ was featured in this movie mostly because very few women attend Rush concerts.
What?
Very few women attend Rush concerts.
I can't see the choices.
Yeah, Marlene, you got to look at the screen and then your phone.
I have no idea.
Fuck.
It's timed.
Oh, everyone voted all over the place.
I
Very
didn't
few
even
women attend Rush concerts. It's true. Like, they always make jokes about it, but I Love You Man was the movie. And then here's the last question, with John now taking the lead again. The Rush radio hit is about a character from American literature. And I have a YouTube video playing of the song.
The internet.
gonna guess.
The answer was Tom Sawyer. Wow, 3 of you got it right. Let's see if that knocks John out of first place.
Probably not. I assume he's one of the ones who got it right.
I didn't get it.
Yep. Adrian's in third.
I can't see anything.
Steven, you came up in second, and there
Uh-huh.
is
John.
John in first place.
All right.
Good work. All right, so I'm going to close that. And what I'll do, just so later you guys could experience this, is I could click play, and instead of doing it as teach, where you had to like look at my screen and then look at your device, I could try assign instead. And give it a date that you have to complete by, Sunday, April 5th by 12 o'clock. I'll say create. It will then give me a link or a pin, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy the link. Then I'm gonna go into our Canvas course and make a new item in this module using that link. So I'm gonna go to external tool, paste it here and say rush self-paste Kahoot. And then if you wanted to try that later, after we're done, you can get a comparison of how it works. I'll put it right underneath of the rush link, and then I'll publish it and indent it once to the right. Okay, so did everybody see where that went?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I'm showing you that is if I was doing a lesson, I mean, music teachers make this kind of stuff all the time, and we're doing this virtual learning, I could make the links and just drop them into Canvas or Schoology when it's working. Bonnie's like smiling, but I don't think you're smiling. So you have this ability then to use
Yeah.
the online learning management system as the repository for all these activities, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, you know, everything cut and pasted. Now, if you were using Google Classroom, you could just click the link right here, send it right to Google Classroom, right to Remind, or right to Microsoft Teams. So that's there for you guys to play with. Any questions about Kahoot? No. Steven already told me that he made his activity about Kahoot. And then did you also make a screencast about how you did it?
I used quizzes, not Kahoot.
Oh, I'm sorry, your quizzes. My bad, my bad. Okay. Did anybody else in the group right now use Kahoot?
No, I learned about it, but it's because of the time pressure and the problem that you were discussing. None of my kids liked it as much,
Right.
especially in math, where they have to take a moment and think. And so that became, and so we do quizzes a lot. So.
Okay. So how about I roll over to quizzes next in the demo? Quizzes, this is something I've been using for about 4 years, and I still forget how to spell it. I always want to put in Q-U-I-Z-Z-I.
Yes, I also wanted to put 2 Z's in first rather than second.
Yep. So it's 1 Z followed by I-Z-Z. When you go in here, you create an account. You can click Join Game right from this page in the upper right-hand corner, which is kind of nice. What I also like about this is they have a lot of quizzes already made. So if I just did a search for like Maryland, looks like there's a quiz that's been played 837 times. It was created 2 years ago by J Chestnut 6. It's made for 3rd through 5th graders, and it's been liked twice. So I can click on that quiz and just sort of say like, oh, this looks fun. I can either play it live or assign it for homework. I'll say play live. I can host the game either in Teams. And this is really nice when you only have like 5 or 6 laptops in the room, but you have 30 kids, just put them into a team. I can do the classic version, which is you answer it at your own pace, completely individually, or I can do it in test format, which is a no frills mode that's ideal for just doing a serious assessment. And this requires that students log in. I'm gonna do classic and then click post game. And you're gonna go to, you can just like leave the Kahoot tab you're in and instead go to, this is really easy to remember, joinmyquiz.com. So now the kids don't have to worry about how to spell quizzes or anything like that. Or is it Kahoot or is it kahoot.com, or is it create.kahoot.it? It's just one simple website, joinmyquiz.com. And our code for this one is 815757. Then there's also a way to share it down here via Google Classroom, Remind, Twitter, or copy the link. And I see Bonnie just got in, and she looks like she is a, was it a lemur? There's Adrian. Marlene, good idea to turn off your video if your internet is slow.
Yeah.
There's Stephen. Joinmyquiz.com, 815757. Now, can anybody in the group tell me, what did Mr. H just do that was extremely poor digital citizenship?
Give the credit.
Maybe. I did a search and found a quiz, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I preview it first?
No.
Okay, who are we waiting on? Marlene and...
Yeah, I'm not able, my server's not working.
Okay, can you see what we're doing though?
It just says joinmyquiz.com and then it gives the code.
Yeah, you can still see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so even if you can't participate, you can observe. All right, so I got the 5 people in. I'm gonna click start. I turned off the music. Now, already, what do you notice difference that's different on your interface compared to Kahoot?
On it. The questions are on my screen.
Yeah, everything's right there. So you're not trying to figure out like which shape goes with which answer or anything goofy like that. You're right in there.
So
Those are counties.
What's that?
Yeah,
My county is not on here.
yeah. It's not a county. So, bad question.
Yep.
Oh, this is probably designed by somebody from Glen Burnie or Anne Arundel County.
Anne Arundel, maybe.
I know that is a
Gorgeous.
county,
Anne
so that's what I
Arundel's-
clicked on.
So it's probably somebody who lived there.
oh
So I just noticed John missed a question.
yeah, I'm not from Maryland. It was a
Pretty sure
Calvin.
it was
Yeah.
him.
Where are you from, John?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah. Ooh.
Bonk.
Oh no. Huh.
Stephen is killing it.
I like answering questions.
Stephen likes it.
I make no apologies. Whoop.
Oh, they got one wrong there.
Yeah.
So what I'm seeing right now is each of you as you go through each question, and I'm seeing the overall accuracy of the entire class.
Man.
This is so much better than doing a paper and pencil test because you're getting the feedback right away. I'm getting the data right away. I know that I might need to have John and Maggie and pull them into a small group later this afternoon and do some targeted intervention there. And Stephen, did you just finish?
Nope.
Oh,
Yes, definitely the Maginot line. Silly question.
And yeah, also what I like about it is you get your answers right away too.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Maginot line was never even finished.
Damn it. That question
Imagine-
was misleading.
Oh
That
my
is-
goodness.
Isn't it the Mason-Dixon line? So on my
Yes.
teacher view here, I can go and look at each question. So the
Mhm.
capital of Maryland, it looks like I did okay on that instruction. You know, I can just kind of go and see, what do I need to reteach? Looks like I need to reteach the Maryland flag because you guys are missing that. The two families were the Baltimore family and the Calvert family.
I knew the Calverts were one of them.
Mhm.
Do you know which color is which, Stephen?
No, I do not.
The
Black
red
and
is the
yellow is
yellow.
Calvert's and the red and white is Lord Baltimore, which is weird because the Baltimore city flag has the black and yellow.
Except that the Baltimore and Calvert was the wrong answer.
No, Baltimore's and Calvert's. That's the right answer, isn't it?
Nope. It said that it was the Crossroads and the Calverts.
Crosslands?
Crosslands.
Yeah, whatever it was. Yeah.
Oh, that must be a bad question because I'm pretty sure it's Baltimore. Well,
Yeah,
maybe
I've
I've burned that from my memory moving. It's definitely not the Fredericks, and it's not
Oh.
Prince George and Queen Anne.
Yeah. Frederick was named after probably Frederick Barbarossa, not anyone who actually lived in the state.
Let's see. The Mason-Dixon line. Why is Maryland the old line state? Ah. What was the correct answer on that one? Here's what I like to do. No, the soldiers who fought courageously in the Revolutionary War. That's number 2.
Yeah, I missed that one. I haven't
This is,
studied the battles of that war too much. They were fairly uneventful.
This is really good feedback for a teacher because you can look at not just who you need to reteach, but what you need to reteach, and you can get this right away. Let me ask you guys this. Would you ever use this tool as a pretest?
Yeah.
No.
The wealth of information it provides would certainly be very useful in that capacity.
Would you ever use Kahoot as a pretest?
No.
Would you ever use Kahoot as a summative assessment where you put the score into the student's grade book?
Probably not.
And what about
Yeah.
this? Would you use this as a summative assessment and keep the grade?
Difficult
Yeah.
to say. It'll probably change in the time between now and when I would be teaching consistently. So
Good.
it might improve in quality.
True. Also, you would never use this the first time. Whenever you use any of these tools with your students, make sure that the very first time you use it is totally for fun and it's content that they know really well. So
Yeah,
that they're
naturally.
focused on learning the tool and that the learning the tool doesn't distract them from showing you what they know about an actual content or curriculum specific item. Okay. So yeah, be careful with that with the tech, but it looks like this proved my point here. Quizzes, like you were saying, Maggie, is a much more effective assessment tool than Kahoot. But don't get me wrong, Kahoot can be fun, especially if you put the kids into teams and you make it a competitive game. If you make it like a holiday event, something like that, it has its place. So when I'm finished, I would click End Game up here in the upper right-hand corner. And then I end it. And this is nice because I end up getting a report. And I can use that report, for reteaching. There we go. Excuse me. I can email parents if I need to. I can look at the overview, the questions, and even standards because you can tag some of your questions. None of them in here were tagged, but you could tag your questions to standards. And then if you are in a school district or a school that does mastery-based grading, you have that data there to support what you're doing with that. Okay, so that's Kahoot and quizzes demonstrated. Does anybody have any questions about those two tools? No? Nope. All right. Another quick demo. This one is called Poll Everywhere, and it is a paid website, but it's nice that it offers you a few features for free when you create your free account. You can only ask like one question at a time. But this is really good for checking for understanding, especially if you're doing slideshows and things like that, because you can dump this image right into a slideshow. There are all kinds of questions you can ask. You can do word clouds, you can do a poll, you can do a survey. To access this one, I put on a map and the question, where were you born? You would go to, let me zoom in on that for you. That doesn't help. pollev.com/Michael, M-I-C-H-A-E-L, and then the first 5 letters of my last name, H-A-K-K-A, followed by the numbers 278. So pollev.com/Michael Hacka 278. And then when you get there, all you have to do is click on the place on the map that you were born. Oh, is it not open? Hang on. I can also just add a little link like this. Is it opening up for you guys?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Oh. So here's a learning point. You have to push the activate button. How about now?
Okay, now it works.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are the instructions on your end pretty easy?
Seems like it.
Kind of point.
All right, I'm going to open it up on my end in a different window so that I can try it. Got to put in your name. Accept their cookies. Okay, I put mine in probably a little bit off. I'm not seeing any of your responses yet.
Wait, maybe to show responses?
I have clear responses. Oh, duh. Thank you, John. So we've got, I'm going to take a wild guess. Over here, born in China. Is that John? No. John, you're over here in Missouri, right?
That's it. Well,
And we have Maggie. Is that you in China?
Yep.
Okay, who was born over in Oregon area?
I'm California, but
Oh, okay. What part of California?
hi.
Bob? What part of California?
Southern California, about 90 minutes out of LA.
East?
Yes.
Like, what is that called? Riverside or?
Yeah, Fontana.
Montana. Okay. Been there. Somebody was born in New England. But this is a nice little visual. And this is just one example of the many different types of questions you can ask. I'll go back to poll everywhere and click the create button. You have multiple choice, word cloud, Q&A. There's the clickable image you just saw, survey, open-ended competitions, and then there's emotional scales and things like that. So the one place I see this being used the most is when like principals are sharing with the entire school something at like a staff meeting or something, and they say, how does everybody feel about the new curriculum that just rolled out on social emotional learning? And then people can go in and vote and stuff like that. And like I said, you can create something, do a word cloud, title it like favorite movies. And after you make it, you can go over into present, and it says how to present or share. One of them, I forget where it is, allows you to embed the poll right into like a web page or a blog or a presentation or anything like that. So people like it because they don't have to jump back and forth between different websites. They can just have it living right in there. Export down here also allows you to save it and duplicate it and do a screenshot and all of that. So that's poll everywhere. One other tool like it that I enjoy, how many of you have ever used Padlet? Anybody? All right, this is one of the best for, and it works for almost any grade. Padlet.com is where you go and you create an account. I'm going to log out for a second because I want to show you one of the features I like best about this. This is one of those where when you go to create your account, if you're with a Google school district like FCPS, when you go to log in, you can just choose this login with Google. Or if you were like a professor at the Mount and you had a Microsoft account, like that's how everything they do is done, you could just say log in with Microsoft. Or if you're an Apple school district and you have an Apple account, you just click log in with Apple and you have one less, you know, username and password you have to remember. So I just click log in with Google. Here's my Google account. And there I am. So I can make a new tab Padlet up here by clicking this pink button. I can do walls, a canvas, streamline, a grid, a map, timeline, back channel, anything like that. I'm just going to do a regular wall. So I click select. And it automatically picks like some random picture. This one I don't happen to like. And it also gives you a random title. So I'm going to change the title to Favorite Bridges. The description will be, what is your favorite bridge? And this is the address for it, which we'll get to in just a second. I can change the wallpaper to pictures, and maybe we'll find a bridge, maybe not. If not, I'll just use something boring like skyline. There we go. Then I come back, go to next, and say start posting. All right, so how do I get it out to you guys? Well, if I click the share button, I can copy the link. I can embed it in my blog or website. And that's what I'm actually going to do. I'm going to click embed in your blog or website and copy all of this, what's called div tag. I like to call it Mr. and Miss Pac-Man on their third date, because you have like the Mr. Pac-Man and the Miss. Anyway, so I'm going to, that was a bad joke. I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go back to our course. All right, so here I am in our course, and I'll go to week 9. I'm going to say add a page. The new page will be called Padlet Demo. I'm going to add the item. There it is. I'll put it up underneath of Padlet and increase the indent twice so it sticks underneath of there. Then I click on the page, say edit. In the rich text editor, this is what Canvas looks like. There's this little button up here that says HTML editor, which is where I'll paste that code. Now I'll save and publish it. Okay, so here's one way to get to the Padlet. It lives in this page in our course now. So if you have our course open in one of your windows, just go to Modules, scroll down to Tech Tools for Assessment, look for Padlet Demo, and then you would click this pink little button down here to add your thoughts. And you can put in, like, I'm going to say Golden Gate Bridge is my favorite. Then underneath of it, I'll say, I have ridden my bike across this bridge, and it was scary. Then down here, I have the ability to upload a picture or link a picture or even do a Google search for a picture. And look at that. It brings up the Golden Gate Bridge. So I'll choose the picture that I like. And now that's my post. Okay. So that's one way to get to it and have everybody share their ideas. Another way is I can just get a link to it. All right. Close. Settings. Okay, here's the link. You would go to padlet.com/Michael87/ and then look at all this terrible thing, right? So here's what I'll do. I'll copy the whole thing, which is actually up there at the top. And in our discussion, I'm going to go to the chat. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a second. I'm going to go to the chat and paste it. Does everybody see that in the chat window?
Yes.
Okay, so you got two ways to get to it now. You could go to the course and find that page, or just click the link in the chat window over on the right. And I'll wait for you to start putting in your ideas. I apologize if I took your idea with the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
You have to pick another bridge. Oh, someone put in the letter T. Tacoma Narrows, that's a good one. And I'd like to challenge you to also add a picture. The Tacoma Narrows are a shining example of what not to do. Is that the one in Washington State that did all the like
Falling apart. Yes.
Yeah. You must have taken an engineering class.
every engineering
Mhm.
major has to take a class where Tacoma Narrows is one of the first things it's talked about. Basically, Tacoma Narrows, the Challenger shuttle, and the Ford Pinto are like the three main things that all engineers have to learn about as things you ethically cannot do.
The Ford Pinto
This
was the one with the gas tank in the bank that always in the back that always got like tapped from behind and it would explode, right?
Yeah, the way it was designed was the assembly for whatever compartment was back there had a couple of screws sticking out into the inside of the vehicle. So if the vehicle was rear-ended, the screws would puncture the gas tank and be likely to cause a spark that would ignite it, making them instant fire traps.
Now, all three of these that you just described are good examples of, despite data, the engineers continued with their plan, right? Like they knew the O-rings were bad on the Challenger, but they still launched,
There was
right?
a worry that there would be a problem with them, but no one actually knew for sure
Oh, okay.
that that's what would happen. With the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, they simply were not aware that they should worry about the oscillatory nature of a suspension bridge and didn't even account for it.
Would you put the, what was the other one? Columbia? The space shuttle that disintegrated in
The
re-entry?
Challenger.
That was the one that
Oh,
blew up on the
no.
launch pad.
Yeah, the one that was disintegrated on re-entry, I forget the name of, but it's not nearly as high profile.
No. So I've got Tacoma Narrows, pedestrian bridge, Chesapeake Bay Bridge, Lagore Bridge. All good. I got to close the door. I got a toddler going to sleep. So this isn't, oh, there's a picture. This isn't really an assessment tool in the sense that Kahoot and quizzes and things like that, and if you use poll everywhere, this is a completely different style of assessment, right? You're getting more of like affect from the students, feedback, you know, ask them to show what they know, more collaboration. It's almost a communication tool in a way. It doesn't have to be synchronous like the other ones. You could put this out on the website, or, you know, put it up at the beginning of a presentation and then ask people to put in their feedback as you're going through the presentation, or even ask questions. There's a lot of potential for this. The one I just demoed was pretty simple. It's just a regular board, but some of your options are you can make a flow chart and then start dragging things around and rearranging what people are sharing. And here I don't, well, yeah, I can sort of say like, well, you know what? I think the Golden Gate is the absolute best bridge here. Chesapeake Bay will be second. Tacoma Narrows will be last because, excuse me, it fell apart, right?
It no longer exists.
Yeah. And then I'm going to say pedestrian bridge is better than Lagore Bridge because it's in Nashville and they have better music. But you get the idea how I'm moving those around, right? You guys all saw that?
You're biased.
Say that again.
You're being biased.
Of course I am. Very biased. Well, where's Lagore Bridge? Isn't that in Frederick or near Frederick?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Frederick County.
So would you all agree Nashville has better music than Frederick?
I'm not aware of any musical tradition of either location.
Oh,
Although I do say that with the full knowledge that my father actually owns a recording studio in downtown Frederick. So
In Frederick?
yeah.
Oh, hey, I got to ask you this. Because I was grading your discussion. You were on 2nd Street. So what's the place that has the best croissants? Is it
It's Stonehearth. Yeah.
I was right. Yay.
I thought that I replied to your comment, but
You may have, and I just haven't checked it yet. All right, so I'll go back to sharing my screen one more time. Yeah, that's the Padlet, and I want to just show you a couple features that you have. When you're in one of these, you can go to the modify section, and there's a place down here where it says comments, allow viewers to comment on posts. So if I throw this switch, now we basically have a place where everybody can go and comment on everybody else's posts. And now it's just turned into a discussion. I can also allow you to grade each other and say, give each other like likes or votes or stars, or even a grade on a numeric scale. So there's a lot of potential for this. It's a completely new way to assess students. It's a way to assess your whole class and also build community. So if you want to explore Padlet, that's an easy thing to do. It is a paid service, but when you do the free version, you get something like, I have I think you get like 20 boards or something that you can use. That you will see this upgrade button right here. But if you're an educator and create an educator account, you'll get more than you need. And what I like to do is, so like, let's say if I had to do another one tomorrow, I might go and delete my AR VR board from like 3 years ago or something like that. So that's Padlet. The last tool I'm going to show you is something called summative. And I'm actually not going to demo it necessarily, but I want you to be aware of it because this is kind of a bait and switch tool. This was originally its own like website, and it was really easy to use. And then they were purchased by a company called Mastery Connect. Mastery Connect is a mastery-based grading system that looks kind of like Facebook, so teachers can share assessments, share data, and share all kinds of like standards and things like that. And coincidentally, Mastery Connect just merged a couple years ago with Instructure. So who really owns summative? You'll find out that as you go to things like Get Pro or buy special features, you're paying into the Mastery Connect Instructure ecosystem. But this is what it looks like. Some people call it Socrative. Some people call it Socrative. It all depends on which syllable you put the emphasis. That was an English teacher joke.
Well said.
Oh, wait. Yeah, thank you very much. Extra points for Stephen. Okay, so I can launch quizzes. There's Space Race, and this is one of my favorites, Exit Ticket. You can also do a real quick short question if you had to, like a multiple choice, true, false, or short answer. So I could do Exit Ticket, and it said, would you like to stop the current activity that you're doing? Yes. All right, and then here's the Exit Ticket. Show names, show answers, click question numbers or class total percentages. This has changed completely. Let me try launch, exit ticket. Yeah, it's not letting me put in my questions. Let's see. Here's a world facts quiz. Oh, I wonder if it's because I don't have an account anymore that it's not letting me do it. But did anybody in the group try Socrative or Socrative or whatever you want to call it? No? Okay. I encourage you to look at it and create an account and see what you can do with it. But as you can see, it's not the most user-friendly. It's not even giving me like any of my results from former quizzes. I wonder if I'm logged in with the wrong account. Huh. Let's try this. Can you guys, how do I share it with you? All right, let's skip this one. Any questions about that? Let me see, what am I doing wrong? Oh, I think it's because I haven't set up a classroom yet. Bummer. So here's what I'm going to do when this happens. I'm going to go back to our Canvas course, and I'm going to go to modules, and I'm going to go to week 9 tech tools. And you see how I have the link here for Socrative? I'm unpublishing it. Then I'm clicking the 3 dots and saying remove. And now it's not an option for you. All right. Now I kind of want to like talk about this for just a second because this is going to happen to you guys. You're going to be using technology and it's going to change on you. And you're going to have to be able to punt in the middle. So what would you do now? You had this plan to do this lesson. The website's not working. You can't remember how to log in. Something changed. What would you do now?
Either you persevere or you.
Say that again, Marlene. Marlene, I kind of heard you, but now you're muted. Did she say you persevere?
That was the first thing she said, yeah.
That's what I thought. So I'm sorry, Marlene. You gonna try it again?
I said you either persevere or you find another platform that suits your needs.
Yeah, you have to do that. And then here's something I want you to be aware of, because this is also going to happen. Just the tool's perfect and everything's great, but you're going to lose internet, you're going to lose power, whatever it is. If you plan ahead and know what your assessment is, it's really simple to replace it with these, right? This is Padlet right here. Everybody write down your questions, put them up on the board, rearrange them into a Venn diagram, whatever you have to do. But you do need to have your content prepared so that when the tech craps out, or whatever it is, you're ready to go and keep teaching. So never rely on the technology, because it will let you down. That just happened to me. But
Always
here's,
be prepared to go low tech.
exactly. It's all technology. It's just some of it is high tech and some of it is low tech. But here's what I can do. I'll say Socrative sucks, kill it, and we'll go to Answer Garden instead. Has anybody tried Answer Garden yet?
I looked at it, but I didn't really play around with it too much.
Here's what I like about Answer Garden. It is designed for the iPad, but nowhere on this website do I see a place to log in. I'm just going to go to plus button. It asks me to create a new Answer Garden, put in a topic, and I'm going to say favorite skyscraper. Then I can go in here and do like a brainstorm mode, a classroom mode, moderator, locked, whatever. I'm going to do brainstorm. This means that respondents can submit an unlimited number of answers, including unlimited copies of the same answer. I can give this a password if I want. Send out a reminder email, spam the filter, add local discoverability so people like total strangers and stuff can find it if I want to be really crazy. Then I come down to the bottom and say create. And here's my Answer Garden. And to get to it, all you need is this link, which I'm going to put in the chat. Can you guys still see the chat even though I'm sharing my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you get there, answergarden.ch 1170090. It asks your favorite skyscraper. You type it in. I put in World Trade B more, which is the World Trade Center in Baltimore. I can keep putting in more if I want. Let's see what happens if I put that in again. So somebody put in Empire State, right?
Oh, I was about to put that. Okay.
Oh, no, put it again, Maggie, and watch what happens to our Answer Garden.
Okay.
Since I put in World Trade Be More twice, it's bigger than the Empire State. So the word cloud is going to get, different sizes depending on what people put in for feedback. Oh, Empire State's bigger than World Trade Center now. 3 people have voted for that one.
I decided to pile on the bandwagon.
What'd you do? Did you say Empire State again?
Yeah. Never really had a favorite skyscraper myself, so I just figured I'd choose the most famous.
I used to work in this building. We called it the Death Star. You guys ever seen the Frederick County headquarters down there on 100 East? Look, it's winning now.
You mean the one they're currently using?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Oh,
driven past it several dozen times.
So this is Answer Garden. Doing a word cloud. It was free. It doesn't require an account. You can make it real quick and easy. You can share it by link, whatever you need to do. Just another form of an assessment tool. Definitely not a summative assessment. You have no accountability here. You don't know who said Citibank. You don't know who said FCPS headquarters 10 times, but you get feedback from the audience in the class. And it's just a good way to get an idea of what your kids are thinking. One thing I want to point out about all of these tools is they eliminate the front of the classroom, right? A lot of times when we call on kids or we ask them to share, We're only calling on the same kids a couple of times. Teachers will, you said I was being biased, Maggie. We are all,
we're learning about.
we're all biased. I mean, some of it is unconscious bias, but we're definitely biased. And we will call on boys more or girls more. And it doesn't matter if the teacher is male or female. Sometimes that's determined by the subject area. But when you throw out this type of an assessment and this type of communication, everybody can participate. So no more front of the room, no more of that bias. It just kind of evens the playing field. So we looked at, let's take a look. We looked at Answer Garden here at the end. I could drag that down to the bottom. We compared quizzes to Kahoot. I didn't show you Nearpod because I actually showed you that one of our first classes.
Yep.
I put in some links to the Rush self-paced Kahoot demo, and I put in a link to the Padlet demo if you want to check those out. There's our bridges. And if you haven't looked at it yet already, I've added an example of a Google form that I made into a quiz that's graded about the Star Spangled Banner. Maggie, I think you had a little stress there. You took that, you thought that was going to be graded and actually count for your score.
Well, yeah, that and anything history. I'm like, I don't know anything about history. Oh,
That
by
was-
the way, we're talking about history. Stephen, you know to publish, make it public for everyone because the questions you created was actually quite good, and I know a lot of high school teachers will probably appreciate those questions. Did you guys hear me?
Yeah, you want Stephen to publish his?
Yeah, because his was really good, the questions, and I thought the high school teachers, history teachers might like those and reuse them.
Oh, yes.
How would I go about publishing them? Because I have no opposition to that.
Instead
Okay.
of that private, you just choose it public. It's either public or private. You have it locked, which means only the people who have the link and yourself can see it. On the bottom, when you yeah.
Ah, yes, I see.
Okay. Because I was looking over the question, like as a teacher, a lot of time I don't have time to create them, and I will go into the same standards. Like if we're learning about exponents, I just type in exponents real quick, and then reuse something that the teacher already create. And yes, I'll preview the question first before I give it to my students.
All right, it should be public now.
Yeah.
So you shared yours? Cool. I was trying to log in to show you how to do it, but it sounds like you figured it out. So yeah, there's yours, Stephen. 10 questions about, wow, this is intense. European powers.
I know.
Yeah, I kind of had those questions rattling around in my head, so I compiled them all into a quiz.
Nice.
I didn't do it because of your sample quiz on the Star Spangled Banner. I just kind of already had them.
Yeah, right on. Cool. I'm giving you a thumbs up on yours. So that brings us to the next thing I wanted to share with you guys. I tried to model for you exactly what you're doing for your project for this assessment. I made a form. I shared the form with you. Then I made a screencast of how I made that form. So you guys should be able to watch that. And then there's a little directions here on how to make a screencast. So what I want you to do is you're going to make a quiz or an assessment. You're going to share it with everybody. And then in your second discussion, you're going to share the screencast explaining how you did it. Here's my screencast about Google Forms. So you can link it or you can embed it, whatever you want to do. The reason I put these into discussions instead of assignments is I want you to all learn from each other about these different tools. And it doesn't matter if 2 of you do Google Forms or 2 of you do Kahoot or 2 of you do quizzes, because you're going to have different quizzes that you make. And it'll also be nice to see the different ways that you make screencasts. So does anybody have any questions about that, about how to make a screencast or what's expected in this module? No? And is everybody comfortable that these are flexible due dates, meaning that you can turn this in tomorrow or you can turn this in 2 weeks? Okay. Next week is spring break, so I am not going to add anything new to the course. And now here's where I'd like to get some feedback from you. When we come back from spring break, would you like to see just one new module week 10 published with mobile learning? Or would you like to see the rest of the course opened up and ready to go so you can finish it early if you have the time? What would you prefer?
I prefer the second one just because the juggling with all these online teaching right now. Like this week, it's been chaotic. So yeah, that'll be helpful for me.
So I'm debating on whether or not, like, coming back from spring break and seeing 5 modules opened would be more convenient or more overwhelming.
Personally, I think it would be overwhelming for me, but that's me personally.
So here's
I have
something.
no opinion either way.
No opinion either way. Here's something I could do. I could make it so that mobile learning is what's visible. And when you complete the activity for mobile learning, then preparing the final project will open. So you'll only see one module, but as soon as you finish it, the next one will open and continue. Do you like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So now, Marlene, you won't be overwhelmed because you'll just see one module at a time. Now, here's the drawback of that. You would have to complete them in order. You wouldn't be able to say, oh, 13 looks more interesting. I'm going to go to that first. Is that a trade-off you're willing to accept?
I don't know. I'm just very kind of overwhelmed right now in general, like with duties, with you know, having to get materials together for distance learning. For my students, it's a lot with having to differentiate instruction via distance learning for my students.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And that's why I want to know what's best for you guys. We've lost Marlene's sound again.
Are there still due dates in there, Michael, for each module?
Yeah, but they're all going to be flexible and they're going to be there for pacing. Like I said before, you will not, for the remainder of this course, for the remainder of this semester, you will never be penalized for turning something in late. But you do have to have everything turned in by the end of the grading period. So you can move through at your own pace, Bonnie.
Okay. I find it's easier to do a week at a time, but I close everything that I've already done. I close it up. And so I would do the same thing with, if you posted everything, I would just leave everything closed and only open up the one I'm currently working on.
Okay. All right. This is good feedback. You're not going to see anything new in the course until spring break is over. And I will put it in there and open it up. You'll have announcements. And then I will do another one of these live webinars, but not next week because of spring break. So it'll be the week after that, somewhere in the neighborhood. Actually, I already have it on the agenda. Let me just check that real quick. Not the agenda, the syllabus. Have you guys noticed that I've been changing the syllabus?
I have not.
That's why I love this Google Drive rather than a paper. It's like I just went in and was like, all right, that module is not going to open up until April 9th now. And I've been changing like the dates and stuff on the side. I even put in here like March 23rd, coronavirus adjustments whenever you see CBA. Okay, our next live meeting would be April 16th. All right, and that one is going to be kind of semi-mandatory. If you can't attend it, you'll have to watch the actual video of it, because that's where I'll explain the video field placement alternative and the lesson plan that you're building for the remainder of the class and what's in the last couple of modules. All good?
All good.
All
Sounds
good.
good.
All right, so I'm done. I'm going to stop recording right now. And I'm going to stop sharing. And anybody who has to go, I owe you 2 minutes of your time because it's now 8:32. So I owe you all 2 minutes. But I'll stay on if anybody has any questions. Maggie, I can do that for you.